guys, welcome back to EAK TV. I'm delighted to have Jack Liu with us, the CEO of Wanchain. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, nice to be here.
Cool. So what brings you to Paris? I've been to a number of events around Europe in the last 12 months. I haven't seen Wanchain, so how come you chose to come to Paris, and what are you guys hoping to achieve?
Yeah, we have a colleague right here in the Station F. Okay. And we are, having the connections of the France, all the blockchain community so far. So we love to be here. But we actually had a great event just a few weeks ago with Barcelona's World Mobile Congress. Yeah, we work with Telefonica and Civic and also Rivets together to demo a mobile-based cross-chain product. Just a few weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. Obviously, Telefonica is a very big, company. So, can you tell us a bit more about what this cooperation is?
Certainly. Yeah. Certainly. Well, we are a cross-chain based solution, right? We have been looking for where's the biggest use case for cross-chain or interoperability based blockchains, right? And we found that for mass adoption, eventually you need to have mobile phone, right? Everybody just use the internet, right? You don't know what's the technology behind it, right? So you just use it, right? But right now there are many challenges facing the mobile phone. First of all, we need to make it secure, right? And that's why we partner with the Rivets to use the we call it trusted execution environment in the mobile phone, right? And also something called dual root of trust, right? And trying to make the wallet on the mobile phone as secure as possible, just like use your ledger or Trezor, right? With your mobile phone, without the hardware, without having the hardware, right? And also you need to have the identity, right? So we partner with Civic. So when you use a mobile phone, you know where you are, who you are, right? And if there's a KYC ML, it's already filtered out, right? So that's why we partner all of them together. The reason for cross-chain being on the mobile phone is mobile phone has very limited real estate space, right? You can't install so many wallets out there. So cross-chain is definitely needed there. So that's why we are looking at mobile phone. So let's build a product over here, right? And it happened to be, with Telefonica, one of the largest, telecom companies there. And so we love work with them. At the same time, I want to point out that it's same thing is true on the business side. So we have been exploring that as well. So for the average user, right, mobile phone is a natural choice, right? On the business side, they have point of sale devices, right? So they probably need a cross-chain as well. And currently we are exploring in that direction at the same time.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations. That's big news. So what else is Wanchain focusing on? I mean, I know obviously I speak to a lot of founders like yourself, and everyone's talking about gaming, gambling, what we're seeing most of the apps using at the moment. Are those two areas that Wanchain is looking at, or are you looking at other industries as well?
Well, in the beginning, we want to build Wanchain as an infrastructure for the future finance, basically crypto finance. We call it decentralized finance, or in today's world, often we call it open finance. Right? Yeah. Pretty much meaning the same thing, right? We trying to use crypto to rebuild the finance world, right? So I think that's our focus, and we are stay focused in that area, right? So first we want to connect all these different chains, right? So last year we already integrated with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and these two largest crypto communities on the public side, right? And this year we are working on EOS now, right? With of course a bunch of other ERC20 tokens and also other tokens on EOS as well. Right? So all these big chains, once they're connected, we can build DEXs, right, on Wanchain. We call it cross-chain DEX, right? Decentralized exchange. So all these different crypto coins, they can be exchanged. I mean, that's the first requirement, right? Instead of using the centralized exchanges, you can use DEXs, right? So that's our first step, and at the same time, we're looking at loans, collaterals. We're partnering with MakerDAO, right? We actually integrate multiple stable coins, right? So with stable coins, I think people will be more interested using, cross-chain dApps. Like they can use one type of coin as a collateral and borrow money if they are in fiat, right? So back and forth. So I hope that with this kind of use cases, more and more people will use the blockchain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, I know there's like the Salt and the Celsius network that do kind of similar. So if you're actually looking into loans seriously, I mean, what kind of percentage can I loan against my crypto?
Well, we are not providing that directly, but we'll be working with partners, right? Creating the apps. I mean, percentage-wise, it's really up to the market, right? I mean, for us, I'm thinking that using the infrastructure should be as close to free as possible, right? Sure, yeah. So pretty much that's the benefit of using the blockchain. So it's like using an email. You shouldn't pay much for sending an email, right? Yeah. So I think economic-wise, for banking applications, so the dApps or cross-chain dApps, they should charge as minimum as possible, right? That's how I see it. Yeah, all the benefit will be put back to the consumers or the users. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So you mentioned that you first integrated with like Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains, and now you've moved to EOS, which is cool. Why did you decide that EOS should be the next one? Was that community driven? And how do you decide which chains to work on next?
Yeah, last year after we finished with Bitcoin, we basically asked the community to provide us the feedback, which one we should integrate next, right? And I got so much feedback from the community, and it's really very, very supportive. So we ran a survey in multiple different media channels, and we also talked to many different projects. But at the end, we picked the one with most volume and most supported chain. But I think we're going to integrate as many chains as possible. So we just go from the top to down, and whoever is interested work with us, right? And we'll be just to put that on top. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So like, how big is your team? Like, how many developers do you have for Wanchain, and how do you attract them to work on Wanchain?
Yeah, we have pretty much a very global team, right? We have around 50 full-timers, and a couple dozen of part-timers. So I think we have right size so far, right? Of course, in the bull market, our team might be bigger, right? But with the current size, I think we are pretty good. Everything is moving forward as fast as we can. We are working on the basic protocol at the same time on the enterprise side as well, right? Improve the tools. I think our team is very, very competent, and we can deliver the time. I mean, all the milestones on time, right? Hopefully for EOS integration, and also the 4.0 integration. And this year we have POS integration and POS implementation. All of them will be on time or before schedule. Yeah.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. So yeah, you just mentioned POS there, which is obviously super interesting. So obviously everyone's talking about staking, it seems, right now. Like Coinbase are coming out with a solution for institutional investors, and I believe Binance Trust Wallet, they're working on staking as well. So so you're integrating, so you're moving over from proof of work to proof of stake. So the first thing is, what was the key driver in making you choose to do that? And secondly, how does your specific staking system work? Because I believe there's a few different variances.
Well, we actually specify our chain will be POS in our white paper, right? But because our system is really a fork of Ethereum in the beginning, so we took the POW first, and we tried to switch to POS, right? And of course, Ethereum has been working on this for a while, right? And including other chains, right? So we're hoping to just to borrow some other or work on other people's, stand on other people's shoulders, right? But at the end, we realized the market cannot wait for too much, right? So we decided to have our own solution. So we actually spent more than half a year to do the research on the POS side, right? We look at all these different POS mechanisms and pick the one that we feel most comfortable with us and will be best fit for cross-chain, right? Yeah. And we just recently released our research paper along with our proof of concept. So we spent several months work on the proof of concept, and everything is validated our research. So far, we feel very confident our solution should work. Two benefits I think came to my mind. One is really this solution is mathematically proven, secure, right? I think that's very important. Majority of the POS solutions out there, they don't have proof, right? Because it is very new, right? We want to make sure that the system we implement is very secure, right? The second one is we implement a solution. We want to make it flexible, right? Of course, we know that decentralization is very important based on what we see in some of the DPoS implementation. We thought that decentralization in the future will be very, very important for our industry, right? But at the same time, we want to make sure that we strike a right balance, right? At this stage, right, people some use cases, they do need the performance, right? So we want to strike a balance between the TPS and also decentralization. And we will let the community decide, where the balance is. I think different stages or different time, there might be different requirement. So we want to make this solution as flexible as possible. And gradually, in the future, we will have the capability to make it very, very decentralized and also very fast.
Great. Okay. Well, I mean, it all sounds very rosy. I mean, you guys seem to be on task with your roadmap, so congratulations. Obviously, it's not always like that, as we know. Running a business is not easy, especially in the bear market. So, how have Wanchain had to adapt their business models for the last 12 to 18 months to, with the market demand?
Yeah. So certainly, we had many different ideas or things we want to do in the beginning of the project. We expand our team and work on different things, including creating many incubators around the world and trying to bring many projects on top of Wanchain. But unfortunately, it was the bad timing, right? And the bear market came just right afterwards, so no project can be successful, right? So we quickly shift our focus and try to build a product or the infrastructure as fast as we can, right? And try to be the market leader at this time, right? And scale back on some of the promotion or marketing side, but at the same time maintain the right balance, right? Yeah. I think our project is pretty famous or well known, right? So, but still, we need to have the right products out there, right? We want to make sure that we are the leader in the space, right? And that's what we're doing. We keep building and keep the right size of the team and make sure that everything will be delivered on time.
So are we suggesting that when we do see the next bull run, Wanchain will be putting more money into the marketing and PR side of things? Yeah? Okay, cool. So, for our followers and for our watchers, could you know what projects are coming up on Wanchain that we should be aware of?
Okay. Yeah, I think the number one priority is after we build enough or integrate enough chains, we want to have a DEX. Right, a decentralized exchange, right? We are working with Loopring, right? We want to build one very soon, right? And also of course, borrowing, lending, and things like that. Behind the scene, we are working with some potential partners on that front, right? And one thing is, for this year, we are working on 4.0, right? We're trying to bring the more enterprise use cases onto blockchain, right? That's why we are working with Hyperledger and the EA, to be exposed to more potential enterprise partners. So we are trying to find the perfect use case for Wanchain. Right? We want to integrate Wanchain with a private or consortium chain before the end of this year. And some of the assets on private chains or consortium chains, they can be moved on to Wanchain and can be exchanged with the public chain-based tokens. So including the fiat-based tokens, right? Fiat-based stable coins, right? So that's, I think, the focus for us this year, 4.0 POS, and also some DEXs on top of Wanchain. Yeah.
Okay, and I mean a lot of founders from blockchain companies now are saying that the next version of their blockchain is going to be ready for large-scale commercial use. So I mean, the next version of their blockchain will be ready for large-scale commercial use.
Okay, sure. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and obviously enterprise being the same thing. So like, how do we differentiate like Wanchain's offering compared to, say, other blockchains like Tron or Neo, or people like that?
Okay. Yeah. Our three pillars, right? We call it three pillars. We really called private, cross-chain, smart contracts. Those three, right? So we want to make other chains connected to Wanchain. So we have smart contracts, and make sure that when the transactions are happening on Wanchain, right? So we can build in or opt in the privacy protection features, right? So with these three pillars, pretty much the developers can build anything they want on Wanchain or cross-chain in the ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
So our unique, what we call business value prop, is really we want to build the infrastructure, right? We want to create this capability for others to build on top of that, right? It will be fast, decentralized, and also private, and also with interoperability. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, finally, I mean, is there any message specifically that you want to give to your community, that anything that you guys specifically want to say to your fans?
Sure. I'm very glad that I came here. So many supporters came out to our booth, right?
Yeah.
Still so many supporters. I'm very, very glad. But I want to say that in the past 1 year or so, the whole industry is a roller coaster, right? And I've been in this space for long enough, right? I've been through the past boom and bust, right? And this is not my first one, right? I even experienced the internet bubble, right? And the last 13 and 14 crash in the crypto space as well, right? So people have to give us enough time, right? Be patient, and also trust us in the long term. Our project is a very, very long-term project, right? And eventually we'll show our value. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Well, Jack, thanks so much for joining us today, guys. That's EAK TV. Subscribe below, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.